So, hi Jenny, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. How was your day today?
It was pretty good today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice. Thanks for actually making the time to have the podcast today. Yeah, and I think you actually wrote a book
Yes.
called How to Make Your First $1 Million in Real Estate.
Yes.
Right? And I think I want to talk a little bit about that as well. And I want to talk about your journey in general, what got you into real estate and your entire trajectory. First of all, what got you into real estate, if I may start there?
So what got me into real estate is my mom. I basically grew up in real estate. So ever since I was about 16, my mom was a real estate agent. So I would sort of help her here and there with contracts or receiving clients when she's not around. And that's how I learned. And I guess it just became my bread and butter along the way.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What were you focusing on, in school and going to university? What were you focused on?
What was I focused on?
Yeah.
So in university, I did computer science in software development. And it's actually funny because that's when I started taking real estate very serious. Because, I mean, as you know, university life is quite, it can be a little bit tough financially.
Mm-hmm.
So it really helped me get by when I would, get rental contracts, and I would have a little bit of something to get me going.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now it's a bit difficult for people to understand what really happens in real estate.
Yeah.
Because I do know, for my observation is most of the stuff or the industries that aren't necessarily taught in school
Yes.
or university, it's a bit difficult to really understand how to get into it unless you have someone that has been in the field before, and how was it for you, going from, IT into that real estate phase? What was the first steps that you took actually?
Okay, so as I previously mentioned, it's something that I grew up in. So it was always on the side. And I had and still have a passion for computers. I love, developing and all that jargon. But really what made me take the first steps into real estate is it's because that it's something that I know already, and it was very difficult during the time of my studies getting by. And when I would, let's say, help my mom with contracts and whatnot, and then I would see the commission that was made, I would be like, oh, hey, let me try this for myself. And yeah, those were actually the first steps with rentals, a sale here and there.
Yeah. Is that what inspired you to write a book?
So it's actually a funny story. I was having a conversation with a young lady called Olivia, and she had just gotten her real estate license, and she was looking, to join a company. So we were just having a conversation, and she was asking me all sorts of questions about the real estate market, what to do, where's the best place to go, how to start. And at the end of our conversation, she said something that sparked me writing the book. She said, why don't you sell your knowledge? There's so many people that would need this kind of information that they don't have currently. And as you see in the Namibian market, really the real estate books for Namibia is really just the study guidelines from the Namibia Estate Agency Board.
Yeah.
That's and a few others. I know that there's also a book by a doctor. You can find his material, I think, on the UP, University of Pretoria site? I'm not sure, but he also has a book about the Namibian market, and it was just updated last year. So it's very far and few in between. And yeah.
Can be too technical also if you're a newbie. Yeah, so I think a book kind of
Yeah.
condenses it, makes it easier.
Yeah.
And I see most of the time people learn things through YouTube and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
But the thing is, real estate content, do you think it differs from country to country? Like if someone were to go on YouTube and then maybe get a video from the States of someone teaching real estate, is it different from, could you reapply that information here in Namibia, for example?
I think the intricacies are different, but generally it's all the same. And I also write that in my book where you sort of have strategies that are based on a general level. For example, if I would give an example of house flipping, that's a very basic model where you buy a low value house, you renovate it, valuate it, and then sell it at a profit. That's something you can apply everywhere in the whole world. But you have the few things in between. Like for example, in the States, they do have house insurance, property tax, your workers must be insured. Here it's a bit more relaxed. But generally speaking, it is the same. It's just those like little
intricacies, nuances.
Yeah.
Okay, so your book, is it focused on the Namibian market in general? Okay,
yes, I mean, I grew up in the Namibian market, so it is based on Namibia, but the strategies that I use are strategies that you can use all over the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you feel like anybody can get into real estate if they wanted to?
100%. I do think everybody and anybody can get into it. I just don't think that it's something that you should go into thinking that, I'm going to get, overnight success. I mean, unless you're a very confident person that you just, you can get people like that. But I do think it's definitely a market that anyone can go into from as young as 16, if your parents allow. You can start. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I know you go through detail in your book, but if you were to, because from the point of view I'm looking at it, it's like I have no clue what really happens. I know it's selling houses, renting houses.
Yeah.
That's the extent I do know. But let's say, okay, I want to start with, if it's a student or someone that has no resources, obviously, to invest or anything like that, how would someone like that go about, starting real estate?
I would say if you're a student and you don't have a license, but you really want to do real estate, and let's say maybe you want to pay for your license, I would really suggest to start off as a scouter, where you help, for example, you help developers or agents scout for houses or land, and then you get something called I wouldn't really say referral commission, but just like a scouter's fee, like to say thank you for finding this place, and then you can use that money then to study and then get your license and then move from there.
Okay, so a scouter, is it someone that goes to a real estate agent and then looks for properties for them? Okay.
So you basically approach a real estate agent, or you approach a property developer, and then you say, hey, I found this old house in Okuriangava, and I think it would really do well if you renovate it and sell it. I can show you where it is. I can, give you the contacts of the person if you give me, something in return. And then that's how you build.
Okay, nice. So you mentioned something about a license. So do you need a license to, okay?
You need a license from the Namibia Estate Agency Board. Actually, first you need to study for the exam, and then you get the certificate, and then you get the license, which allows you to practice within Namibia.
All right. Okay, so now you have, let's say you get the license. Anybody can get the license, right? As long as you pass the exam, I guess.
You have to pass the exam.
You have to pass the exam.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now you have the license. What are you focusing on? Getting clients, finding properties, what's the next step from there?
So right now, the game has changed a little bit. It's not the same as it was before, and I can't really speak for the general public, but what I would say now is it's very important that you join a firm. You join an existing real estate company with a couple of agents, and you start out basically like how I started out. I was just lucky enough that it was my mom's company and I was just thrown into it. But I would always suggest that you join a company and then you learn, the jargon of contracts, how to, approach clients, how to speak to clients, because it's not very easy to deal with different personalities. So you learn all those things when you are within a company, and then when you are strong enough, you can always venture out on your own.
Yeah. What are some challenges you might face, or some challenges you faced when you were trying to, get to $1 million?
So I would say the biggest challenge for me was patience. Patience, oh my goodness. It's not easy. The moment of starting to the moment of, seeing that money in your bank account, it's tough mentally, because, you deal with so many different things. Like little things are like thrown in your way and you don't know how to deal with them. So I would say patience, number one. I had to learn a lot of that. And then number two is dealing with different personalities.
Okay.
Yeah. So as an agent, you are basically the middleman, and you have the personality of the seller, you have the personality of the buyer, you have the personality of the landlord, you have the personality of the tenant, and it's so easy for them to say whatever they want because they're not speaking directly to the person, they're speaking to you.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to navigate personalities.
Okay.
So everybody wins at the end of the day.
All right. Would you say you're an extrovert or introvert by nature?
Naturally, I'm an introvert.
Okay.
I love sitting at home and watching Chinese dramas.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a tough one.
So it might have been a bit challenging for you.
Yeah.
Because you have to speak. I mean, all you're doing is speaking to people all the time, right?
Yeah. You're speaking to people. You're strategizing. You have to learn how to speak to people, because you can't just say anything. You can say one wrong thing and then that's it. You lose out on like 100,000 worth of commission. So you have to, and that's where patience comes in, because when you speak, you have to like monitor your words.
I see.
Accordingly.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. What was the one deal that sort of like, was this big deal for you that you made?
So the biggest project that I got was selling. It was a development. I sold 32 homes, and that really pushed my career.
Yeah.
Yes, that really did.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. 32 homes, like flats, or like homesteads. Okay.
Yes, so it's a sectional. It's registered as a sectional title, but they are individual properties on their own. It's not like wall to wall.
Okay, so you sold them all 32 at once?
Yes,
Okay.
It wasn't easy, but I was given like a short period of time to sell. So yeah, that one was.
Wow, that must have been nice. Yeah.
That one made.
Yeah.
That one made me level up mentally.
That was your big break, I guess.
Yes.
At least for now.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. What are some strategies would you advise, people to go into? Because there's rental, there's selling. I'm not sure what else there is, but what are some real estate sort of markets you would advise someone to focus on?
Okay, so I also write this in my book. I have two sections, the rental market and the sales market, because those are the main, ball players.
Yeah.
So I would say focus on one thing, because the rental world is, you have management, you also have, sort of different services and products to provide to that market, and then you have the sales market where it will take a bit more time to get your commission. So I would say focus on one. I would advise that if you're starting out, you start with the rentals, and then you move into, management, be it commercial or residential. And then when you have that, a little bit of confidence in your field, you can then move on to sales. But I wouldn't recommend that you do both at once. It can be tiresome.
Okay. So you have to find anyone and then just focus on that specific one.
Yes, I would definitely recommend that you focus on the one part of the market
Choice, yeah.
versus everything at once.
At the same time. Have you ever written before? Was this your first book ever?
So this is my first published book, but I have written before. I've always been a reader, and I read somewhere that readers are actually writers somewhere inside.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually true, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've written before, but most of them have just stayed in my computer. This is the first one out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. I think it's true with because most of what you take in most of the time, you just end up taking it out.
Yeah.
Like if you read a lot of books, eventually you're just gonna want to write your own book.
Yeah.
But I've noticed, like you said, you have a lot of drafts, because especially with writers, it's like you get a lot of just inspirational bursts, and then you keep writing. When that inspiration goes away, you kind of forget to finish the book.
Yeah.
And then you just, so I think with finishing a book, at some point, it's sort of partly passion, but then at some point you need a lot of discipline, just to focus yourself, focus what has to go in the book, what has to go out. How was that whole writing journey for you?
100%. You're very right there with the discipline. It wasn't easy writing. It really, really wasn't easy writing. It, especially from the point of, hey, why don't you sell your knowledge, to, putting all these things in a draft, and then trying to make sense. Because I remember my mindset at the time was, or how I was feeling at the time was, I really want the person to understand. Whoever's reading this, I really want them to understand, and I want it to be easy, to grasp the strategies. So putting that from mind to matter was very, very difficult. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. How long did it take you to write the whole thing?
So from writing to publication, I would say a year and some months, because I started writing in May of last year, and I just published now.
Just published. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you expect someone to get out of the book if someone were to get a copy of it?
My hope for them for what they can get out of the book is mindset, number one, and strategy. You can't, I don't think you can do anything if you don't have some kind of plan. So I especially talk about identifying something in the market, a service or a product in the market. I'm specifically in the real estate market, that that the public needs, or that the market needs. And from that, you devise a foolproof plan, a plan that you can wake up every morning and you can follow, and executing that plan. So that part is strategy, and I would say 95% mindset. Having your mindset to go.
Focused.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Where can people get a copy of the book if they want to get a copy?
So they can get my book from Exclusive Books at the Grove Mall, and they can also go on my website, jannydavid.com, and they can purchase it online. I know some people can be a bit iffy about purchasing online or putting their credentials, their credit card details online. So you can also order from me directly, but the main points or the main place that you can get it from is Exclusive Books.
Exclusive Books.
Yes.
If you're in Namibia.
Yes, if you're in Namibia, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think to make it easy, I might also just put the links in the description so people can just take a look at it.
100%.
And is there any final thoughts you'd want to leave to anybody who's trying to, pursue their career or trying to get into real estate? Any advice you'd want to give them?
The one piece of advice that sits at the top of my mind is nobody's coming to save you.
That's true, yeah.
Nobody's coming to say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. So it's really up to you to decide for yourself what you're going to do with your life. And I would really, really recommend that you take as much knowledge from the people that have been through it, read up on it and understand it, so you can say for yourself, this is something that I can do or this is something that I cannot do. But essentially, at the end of the day, you have to save yourself. You have to be realistic and see that, okay, this is how my life is right now. How can I change it? Okay, I'm busy studying for something. What can I do that's not really going to affect my studies? And real estate is one of them, because you can do it on your own time. You don't have a boss that's calling you every day. I mean, unless the landlord is your boss. But yes, you have, no one's coming to save you. You have to get up and do it for yourself.
Nice, perfect. I think just to get a idea of how the book looks like, I might just show them the front cover. So to make your first million in real estate, Janny David. Yeah, Janny, thanks for actually making the time. This was awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
For sure.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.